Welcome to Francis Quilts, the site dedicated to the wonderful art of quilting, with a few other fun things thrown in as well. If you like what you see here, be sure to subscribe. Hey guys, welcome back to Francis Quilts. You know how sometimes things that happen and you think, well, maybe that's a coincidence or maybe it's something pointing me to do something. Well, on one day, I had 2 emails from readers and both of them mentioned a tool that I had never used before. It is Deb Tucker's Wing Clipper Ruler. Now it is designed to square up flying geese blocks. And I thought, well, with 2 people asking me about it or mentioning it, maybe I should try it myself. So I ordered one. And again, as a coincidence, quote unquote coincidence, I have 60 flying geese blocks that have to be made today for a mystery quilt that I'm involved with. The mystery quilt, by the way, is through Meadow Mist Designs. You ought to check it out. It's a lot of fun. We're only on, I think, month 3, so you have plenty of time to catch up. Anyway, for the mystery quilt, we made the flying geese blocks using the 2 at a time method, where you start out with your squares of fabric and put smaller squares in each of the corners. You sew down both sides, trim it apart, and then press the points out. So you have this funky looking heart-shaped piece. Then you take another one of your squares and put it in that open area. Do the same thing, stitch down on both sides, cut it apart, and press it open. Now you have flying geese blocks that need to be trimmed. Let's go to the tool and see what you think about it, and I'll tell you what I think about it. All right, we're now ready to trim down a couple of flying geese blocks. In the past, I have used just my regular ruler, and I have taken a marker and just marked the lines that I wanted to line up to, and that has worked well. But I wanted to try, as I mentioned, this new tool called the Wing Clipper. And let me just demonstrate to you how it works. First of all, I normally started with my point up when I was doing my trimming. In this case, you start with the point going the other direction. This is what the ruler looks like, and honestly, I find these markings a little bit confusing, but I do have maybe a workaround for that. But what we're going to be doing is working for the 2.5 by 4.5 inch rectangle here. And the 2.5, we're going to be lining up with that point right there. Now that's the part that I find hard to do, because when I'm putting it onto my fabric block, I'm finding it hard to find that. Let me show you what I mean. So my problem comes when I start looking, because I start looking at this 2.5 and thinking that should be in the middle. Well, it shouldn't be. It should be the 2.25 right there. So I have to come down here and find that point right there and see that it is lined up. Okay. I'm actually getting better at it the more I've done it, but the first few times I really struggled with finding that place. So now I'm going to hold this in place and I'm going to trim the 2 sides, and then I will turn it around. And this time I'm going to use the perpendicular lines right here for 2.5 and 4.5. So I'm going to line those up along the cut edges that I just did. And I'm going to look right here and see that this point is matching right there. So let's trim it again. All right, that actually wasn't too bad, and it actually does trim up to a nice flying geese block. But let me show you the change that I made to it and see if it might be something that might help you as well. I also struggled a little bit with this ruler sliding around, probably because I'm just used to something that has a little more grip to the back of it. So what I decided to do is to take some masking tape, some painter's tape, and put some little marks here to show me exactly where I'm going to. So that's the edge that I want to work with. So I'm going to turn it over. Let me keep a finger there so I can see where I'm going. And I'm going to put a piece of tape just along right on that edge right there. And I'm going to take another piece of tape and put it along the other edge. Let's scoot it up so you can see it. All right. So now I've marked where my edges are going to be. That's going to do 2 things. It's going to mean when I put this down, I'm going to have something to kind of butt up against a little bit.
It's not a lot, it's not going to help a whole lot, but it does help me a little bit. And it also helps me to see that where that point is very, very easily. So now I come along and I do the same thing as before. Trim 2 sides. Let's get that off right. Turn it around. And this time, when I line up here with my 2.5 and my 4.5, I don't have an actual mark here, but I do have this little square right here that I can see so that I can tell that I'm in the right spot. And I'm going to trim the other side. Let's do one more just to see how it works. Lay it down like this. I'm going to put this ruler down and line up those edges. And again, that is just so much easier for me to find than when I was trying to look at all of those different numbers and lines. Line it up, trim and trim. Turn it over. Again, line it up right there. Trim and trim. And I have my flying geese block ready to go. Boy, I'm not doing well with my rotary cutter today. So I have my flying geese block ready to go. Again, I like the tool a lot. One of the things I like about it is that it can do a lot of different sizes. Let's look at it again. So this can do everything up to, it looks like a 5.5 by 10.5 inch flying geese block. Some of the ones that you buy, you have to buy the specific size that you want to do. And with this one, I can use all different sizes, and I'm excited about that. So again, I like the tool. I like it better with just this little bit of adjustment that I made to it. And that adjustment's going to just come off easily, and I can change it for the next time. All right, I hope that helped you to see a demonstration of this tool, to see the things I liked about it and the things I didn't like about it. And maybe you can look at it and say, hey, that would be a really good addition to my quilting toolbox. If so, try one out and see what you think. Thanks for joining me today. And remember, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button, the thumbs up button, to let other people know to be looking this direction. And please subscribe if you haven't already. Talk to you later. Bye.
Remember, if you like what you've seen, be sure to subscribe. You can also find my blog at francisquilts.com, and I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Francis Quilts, and on Pinterest at Francis Quilts 57. Hope to see you again soon.